I love blood, but I hate yeast. I love blood, but I hate yeast. I love blood. I love blood, but I hate yeast. Oh, hi. Welcome to Joel Reads Bible. I'm Joel, and I read Bible. Why? Well, so that you don't have to. I know that some of you are curious about it. Some of you kind of want to. But you know what? I'm going to jump on their grenade, and I'm going to do it. Am I a savior? Yeah, I guess kind of in a way, but not in the way that it would be stupid and useless to be a savior, but in the way that it is actually a very real and effective way to be a savior. I guess, to be fair, it is a lot like Jesus, because this does not have to be done. This is kind of just something I've decided to do. It isn't necessary by any stretch of the imagination, but whatever, we're doing it, okay? Just relax. All right, so look, we've been going through Exodus, and we're at Exodus 23. There are only 40 chapters in Exodus, so we're over halfway done, thank God. But we are in the throes of God bestowing his holy, eternal law, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just temporary, onto these people, the Hebrews, which I don't know for sure, but I think by extension, it extends to, yeah, that's right, I used extension and extends in the same sentence, to us. I hope not. In a lot of ways, I really, really, really do hope not. Because last chapter it says we're supposed to give him our sons the way we give him our cattle and our sheep. I think we're supposed to kill those things. This is chapter 23, and I'm going to get right into it because I think I'm taking way too long with these chapters. And I want to say that you guys are troopers for hanging in for the long haul with me. But if you guys could just, and I know I haven't really said much, I haven't really done much here that's of note, but you can tell just by my vibe that you want to subscribe. That's right, I do poems. And just by my, oh, I wish I had a mullet, that you want to comment. I wish I had a tricycle. Just by my trike, you know, you want to like the video. Anyway, okay, so the first one was good. The other ones kind of sucked. But if you could, yes, subscribe, comment, and like. That would mean the world to me, quite literally, not literally. So here we go. Exodus chapter 23. Do not spread false reports. Do not help a wicked man by being a malicious witness. Fair. Don't lie in court. That is one of the 10 commandments. He's repeating it, but he's like, not only do I not want you to be the main guy that does the lying in court, but I also don't want you showing up and just like doing make-em-ups for someone else. Okay? Just don't lie in court. All right, guys? Do not follow the crowd in doing wrong. When you give testimony in a lawsuit, do not pervert justice by siding with the crowd. And do not show favoritism to a poor man in his lawsuit. This verse is one of those ones that sort of gets derailed at the end of it. Don't follow the crowd. I agree with that. Stand up for what is right. Don't pervert justice. This is good advice. And then it goes, do not show favoritism to a poor man in his lawsuit. And I think we should stand up for what is right, what is true. But this is like, hey, by the way, you might want to stick up for the poor guy. Maybe you'll feel bad, but don't do that. Do not stick up for the underdog. We don't need an underdog story, guys. Okay. Don't follow the crowd, you know, don't always be on the side of the powerful, but do not favor the poor. If you come across your enemy's ox or donkey wandering off, be sure to take it back to him. That's very nice. If you see the donkey of someone who hates you fallen down under its load, do not leave it there. Be sure you help him with it. That is also very nice. The Good Samaritan is actually not very novel at all. I think we can write down Exodus 23 verse 4 and 5 are absolutely lovely verses. Finally. Do not deny justice to your poor people in their lawsuits. Oh, few. Have nothing to do with a false charge, and do not put an innocent or honest person to death, for I will not acquit the guilty. If someone's guilty, they're guilty. But if someone's innocent and or honest and a good person, even if they're poor, let us treat them with justice. Although the lawsuit is going to enact previous laws. The court case might be about determining whether or not someone is a sorceress, or more modernly put, a witch, and they are not to be allowed to live. That is one of the laws. So when you have a witch trial, even in more modern ages, they're actually justified under these laws. This is where it kind of falls apart because this part does make sense. But we're just trying to figure out if the witch is a witch, and then we can burn her. At least if they're innocent or honest, we don't have to burn them. Do not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds those who see and twists the words of the righteous. We don't want bribes. They're taking bribes. What are you guys talking about? Everyone's always taking bribes. Bribes are bad. I agree with that. Do not oppress an alien. You yourselves know how it feels to be aliens because you were aliens in Egypt. We were aliens in Egypt. Oh yeah, we were aliens in Egypt. We don't want to treat another alien bad because we were aliens in Egypt. Right. What else were we in Egypt? We were aliens, but I think there was another thing that we were. What else was it? Oh, right. Yes, we were slaves. So we're not supposed to have slaves. Oh, we can't have slaves. Okay, we can't have, we can make each other slaves. Okay. 7 years at a time, women, slaves for life. Okay, perfect. That's fine. But don't mistreat the alien. I feel like maybe we didn't like the slave. Did we like the slavery? We're still fine with putting people through what we didn't like. Okay, yeah, perfectly fine. No, I don't think it sounds like a double standard at all. For 6 years you are to sow your fields and harvest the crops, but during the 7th year, let the land lie unplowed and unused. I think that's just good advice for farming. I think it has to replenish its nutrients. So this is the first time God has some sort of clue what's going on the earth. This is the first time he practically actually knows something about anything, which is kind of funny. Then the poor among your people may get food from it, and the wild animals may eat what they leave. Do the same with your vineyards and your olive grove. All right, God, farming. The only reason why this is just, unfortunately, not verifiable that it's a God is that it's just probably what the people knew from the time. 6 days do your work, but on the 7th day do not work, so that your ox and your donkey may rest, and the slave born in your household, and the alien as well, may be refreshed. Slaves are just part of it, guys. Slaves are just the way it is. Isn't it funny? I don't have to look for the verse about slavery. I can make that joke about, well, weren't we something else in Egypt? And guess what? A couple verses later, they're going to give me slaves so that I can go, see guys, we are allowed to have slaves. We just can't oppress aliens. We have to let them rest. And we're going to let the slaves that we own rest too. The ones that are born in our household. The ones that we buy, I don't know if we have to let them rest. And by the way, it's not just for the rest. It's because I have demanded that. I mean, that's part of the 10 Commandments. It's since day one. This is just the rule that's been going on. I don't know why all of a sudden it's like, the reason is resting. Is it? Well, it is. They've wanted a day off this whole time. They're just pretending that it's God. Be careful to do everything I have said to you. Do not invoke the name of other gods. Do not let them be heard on your lips. So back to the jealousy thing. This is just getting repetitive. It seems like there's a lot of laws because it just keeps going and going, but they're kind of just the same. And I don't know if any of them are very novel. People are writing these, right? So I don't think they were handed down from a God on high. I think that if you want them to be handed down from a God on high, you have to do a lot of gymnastics to justify some of the more horrible things that are said in this law book. These are probably generally fine laws for the time, I would assume. And a lot of the laws, the ones that we might like, right? Like help out someone who's donkey is falling down. Like actually help him. Even if you hate him, help him. These types of things, these are kind of nice. And they're things that we probably could have come up with without the notion of a higher power, right? And then there's a whole pile of stuff that we don't want, that we don't like, that there's a good reason to get rid of it. If we were going to like blot out the things that were useless to us, then there would be like one verse. There's not a lot in here that is worth keeping. But let's keep going, because maybe we need all of this nonsense in order to be redeemed in some way and have all sorts of laws that are actually going to make sense and all sorts of things that are actually going to be big and beautiful and wonderful. Maybe this is some sort of transformative text that goes from horrific to really, really nice. And we needed the bad stuff in order to really feel good about the good stuff. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe we wouldn't appreciate the wonderful stuff that's coming if we didn't read how horrible this God could be. This is how bad you could have it. But now I'm going to make it really, really nice. At the same time, you kind of have to ask the question, why not just start with the good stuff? Why not just say what the best thing is? And everyone goes, oh yeah, that is good. That is wonderful. What about slavery? No, obviously not. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Human autonomy. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I guess that would be good. But there's Christians out there that are like, no, they needed the slavery so that they know not to do slaves, when God never mentions not to do slaves. 3 times a year you are to celebrate a festival to me. 3 times. Okay. Celebrate the Feast of Unleavened Bread. For 7 days, eat bread made without yeast, as I commanded you. Do this at the appointed time of the month of Abib, for in that month you came out of Egypt. I hate yeast. No one is to appear before me empty-handed. Remember in Genesis when God was making everyone suffer in Egypt with the famine? And they were like, yeah, but the priests are fine. The priests they'll be taken care of. I feel like this is a rule continuing here. Celebrate the Feast of the Harvest with the first fruits of the crops you sow in your field. Celebrate the Feast of Ingathering. Is that inbreeding? So that's just another word for inbreeding, because they love inbreeding in this culture, I believe. At least they did do a lot of inbreeding. Celebrate the Feast of Ingathering at the end of the year, when you gather in your crops from the field. 3 times a year, all the men are to appear before the sovereign Lord. Do not offer the blood of a sacrifice to me along with anything containing yeast. I want the blood sacrifice, but I don't want yeast. Give me all the blood. Give me all the blood you got, but just no yeast. I love blood, but I hate yeast. I love blood, but I hate yeast. I love blood. I love blood, but I hate yeast. The fat of my festival offerings must not be kept until morning. Bring the best of the first fruits of your soil to the house of the Lord your God. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. Came out of left field. That sounds important. I don't know why. Look, maybe the milk would spoil, or it tasted bad. I don't know. But it sounds like this is all concessions so that people, aka priests, get fed. Someone is getting these offerings. I don't know if they burn them and they're gone. I don't know if these first fruits are completely destroyed. They might just be trashed. Ash. I don't know if these are things that somebody gets to eat. I think they are. Maybe it's just a bunch of waste. Maybe God is just like, waste stuff for me, just like you would any other God, except don't do it for other gods and don't put their name on your lips. But for me, I want all sorts of stuff. And I'm just, because look, we're all the same. I just want blood, no yeast, but I just want a lot of death. See, I am sending an angel ahead of you to guard you along your way and to bring you to a place I have prepared. Oh, that's nice. He's sick of it. He's like, I was in the pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire, and I'm exhausted. I am done with this. And by the way, there's not enough water. It's hot, and you guys are down there. I'm up here. I'm closer to the sun, I think. I don't know that much about science, but I think I'm actually closer to the sun being on top of this pillar of cloud / fire. So anyway, now I'm sending an angel because I'm sick of being here. Pay attention to him and listen to what he says. He's a talking angel. Do not rebel against him. He will not forgive your rebellion, since my name, capital name, is in him. What does that mean? Since my name is in him? Who is this? You know what? People probably think this is the Holy Spirit. I'm sending an angel ahead and my name is in him. This has got to be another thing that they're just going to imagine. Where's the angel? Is the angel around here? He's listening. He's listening to the other gods being on our lips and stuff. Oh, he's a babysitter angel. He's a babysitter that doesn't exist. Oh, okay. Tricky God. Good move. If you listen carefully to what he says and do all that I say, I will be an enemy to your enemies and will oppose those who oppose you. My angel will go ahead of you and bring you into the land of the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Canaanites, Hivites, and Jebusites, and I will wipe them out, baby. I'm going to wipe them out. Yeah. No, we know this. We know this. We hate them. This is more biblical propaganda. Now we have an angel. This is added sort of things that arguably we wouldn't need. I mean, God is there. He's all powerful. He does not get tired. He can be the pillar of cloud and fire. He can do whatever he wants. But now he's sending an angel to add variation, guys. It's to add variation. You know that that's what it is. It's just creative writing. Do not bow down before their gods or worship them or follow their practices. You must demolish them and break their sacred stones to pieces. It's because of the other gods. That's what we don't like. We don't like the other gods or their practices. So we actually have to completely destroy them. Yeah, I think we're going to actually completely annihilate them. Yeah. Worship the Lord your God, and his blessing will be on your food and water. I will take away sickness from among you, and none will miscarry or be barren in your land. I will give you a full lifespan. The food and water he's talking about is obviously manna and quail, and then the gallons upon gallons upon gallons upon gallons of water that they need in the desert to water 2 million people plus cattle. It's a lot of water, and I don't know where they're getting it from, but whatever. And it's so interesting. There's no miscarriages. There's no barrenness because God's in charge of all of that. So that begs the question, if God is able to stop all miscarriages, then when a woman miscarries, is that God doing an abortion? Shouldn't we think of it that way? If God can make every pregnancy go to term, he is in charge of this. This isn't just a natural process, right? This is God with his hand deciding whether or not to flush out a baby. Isn't that God performing an abortion? I think the answer is yes. Now, the apologetic will be God can do abortions if he wants. He's the one that made the person pregnant. He can flush out the baby if he wants. But I guess the question is, how much does God value human life if he constantly does abortions? So I did a quick Google search. The amount of abortions done per year and the amount of miscarriages per year are pretty similar. The abortions might have it by a little bit. Christians don't have that much to complain about when it comes to abortion because their God is doing almost as many abortions as we are. And that's one guy. You know what I mean? Like, this is just like millions of individuals deciding to do abortions. Whereas one God is like responsible for 23 million abortions worldwide per year. So that is a lot of abortions. Or you can just ignore that and think that, oh, well, God isn't in charge of that and it's just natural processes just for that one, you know? That's always the nice thing, is that you can like pick and choose what God is actually in charge of. But he is the one that is claiming here that he can decide who miscarries and who is barren, etc. So you kind of got to give it to him. He's the one doing all your miscarriages. He's the one that is aborting all your babies. I will send my terror ahead of you and throw into confusion every nation you encounter. I will make all your enemies turn their backs and run. I will send the hornet ahead of you to drive the Hivites, Canaanites, Hittites out of your way. Well, that is interesting. I love this hornet. Is that the name of the angel? The hornet. Here comes the hornet. That's pretty cool. But I will send my terror ahead of you and throw into confusion every nation you encounter. It really does feel like that is an infringement on free will. He is causing something involuntarily in a person, which doesn't feel like it's a choice, right? It's not like these people did anything to become confused. God is just, putting them into that confusion mode. But I will not drive them out in a single year, because the land would become desolate and the wild animals too numerous for you. Okay. Little by little, I will drive them out before you until you have increased enough to take possession of the land. How big is this land? There's 2 million of us. I think we could fill quite a bit of the land. Well, we're not going to do it all at once, because I know you want to think I'm all powerful, but I'm actually quite limited. I know I keep on presenting like I'm all powerful, but I'm actually quite limited. And honestly, almost all my power comes through you guys doing things. In a lot of ways, I actually don't have any supernatural powers that I can use in any real way. So you guys have to do it, but you will do it, and you'll do it bit by bit. I'll do it, but you'll do it, and then we'll eventually, just we'll take over the land. It will be us. It'll be, a lot of it will be you, but it will kind of be us. I will establish your borders from the Red Sea to the Sea of the Philistines, and from the desert to the river. I will hand over to you the people who live in the land, and you will drive them out before you. Do not make a covenant with them or with their gods. Do not let them live in your land, or they will cause you to sin against me, because the worship of their gods will certainly be a snare to you. This is propaganda, okay? I'm not gonna sugarcoat this one. This is straight up propaganda. These are the others. These people are not you. We are the special ones. And the reason why we're special is because of this God. We worship this one God. We have the better God. And so that allows us to go in and ring, 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 and it's fine. It's justified, because we can't have these people hanging around here trying to get us to worship the wrong God. We have to worship our good God, our loving God, our moral God. If any man beats his male or female slave with a rod, and the slave dies as a direct result, then he must be punished. But if he gets up after a day or two, he's fine. Yeah, you're perfectly moral God. Wonderful. Thanks, God. We got a little bit more propaganda. We got some more laws, which are and we've got a little bit of supernatural magic with the angel known as the Hornet coming to lead the way to guide these people into the land. So that's pretty fun. We'll see what happens in chapter 24. Thanks for being here. Thank you for subscribing, commenting, and liking my videos. I'll see you next time. Bye.